There's currently a lot of work going on in Africa and international collaborations and consortiums being developed to study a number of major cancer types, particularly those that affect underrepresented populations and underserved communities here in the U.S., African Americans. So we've built some incredible collaborative research groups focusing on prostate cancer, breast cancer, colorectal cancer. We're working in collaborating with groups in Nigeria, Ghana, as well as areas in East Africa, such as Ethiopia. And we're really trying to understand how underlying genetics influences biology and changes that could be driving some of the differences that we see in incidence and outcomes among African Americans, and whether or not there's sort of a bit of a tug and pull, right? Meaning, are the same diseases that affect African Americans also significantly affecting individuals in different areas of Africa, from where many African Americans were derived? Undoubtedly, the transatlantic slave trade, right, led to the migration, forced migration of people primarily from West Africa into various regions of North and South America and the Caribbean. Therefore, naturally, the genetic footprint that was derived there is now intermixed with other genetic backgrounds, right? Again, from North American, Europeans, Native Americans in South America, and we're trying to understand how that African footprint, right, actually could affect various types of biology, inflammation, immunity, different signaling pathways, and how those could be influencing more aggressive tumor growth in African Americans. And so we know a lot about the genetic differences that are associated with African ancestry. And again, we're really trying to understand how those are influencing biology and how that could be driving these, really tough to treat cancers in African Americans. There are absolutely differences in frequencies of various genetic markers that are enriched in different populations, particularly African populations. And we're now learning that some of those genetic variants actually might affect RNA splicing, how genes are spliced together, which can cause differences in their overall function. So there was an amazing presentation given by Dr. Steve Paterno, the Associate Director for the Duke Cancer Center, where he's identified genes that are differentially spliced in tumors derived from black men versus those derived from white men. And he also is showing that they're modifying the functions of really important cancer genes. And he's also working on novel therapies to specifically target those aberrant forms of those proteins. And so we're really excited about that type of work. We're also seeing differences in, for instance, the Duffy null allele. Dr. Melissa Davis actually presented some fantastic work detailing and describing her research on how she believes the Duffy null actually is modifying the immunological response in triple-negative breast cancers, particularly among black women, both in Africa as well as in America. So we're really excited about these types of studies. Historically, there has been a feeling that most health disparities are simply caused by socioeconomics, right? Lack of access to health care. But there's mounting data and mounting evidence that there is biology, right? And all we want to do is to have the opportunity to either prove that there is or rule it out. If it's not biology, that's fine too. That means that we can focus on the socioeconomic and the access issues. But if there is biology, it's providing us new opportunities, right, to learn more about the breadth of what causes cancer and what's influencing aggressive behavior of cancer growth, and learn how to better diagnose and treat those forms of cancer. One of the things we hope to do is through these collaborations, is also to help build infrastructure in Africa. The last thing we want to do is to be vampire scientists, where we go in, we take blood samples, and we bring them back to the US, we write papers, and we really don't provide African scientists and clinicians the opportunity to lead, right? And so we're hoping to build infrastructure, train African scientists, fellows in some of the latest and greatest state-of-the-art technologies, genomics, molecular profiling, database management, biomedical informatics, and so that we can empower them. So through these collaborations, right, they're doing work, we're doing work, and everyone is getting appropriate credit, and they're growing and building their own infrastructure so that they can really drive research in Africa. And so that's a big thing that's moving right now. A number of groups are involved in these collaborations, and we're sharing knowledge and we're sharing resources such that everyone, right, is actually involved in the science.